Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming to this closing session of the 5th Annual International Humanitarian Law Dialogues at the Chautauqua Institution. I'm very happy on behalf of one of the co-sponsors, the American Society of International Law, to have the honor of reading the declaration that has been prepared over the course of this meeting by the prosecutors you see present, representing all the international and internationalized courts and tribunals that are now operating throughout the world. The 5th Chautauqua Declaration of 30 August 2011 reads as follows. In the spirit of humanity and peace, the assembled international prosecutors and their representatives here at the Chautauqua Institution, recognizing the continuing need for justice and the rule of law as a cornerstone to international peace and security, underscore that only through the rule of law will peoples of the world be truly free from want and fear and have an ability to freely worship and speak, principles that are the cornerstone of the United Nations Charter. Note with pride the awarding to H.W. William Caney and Benjamin Brammertz the 2nd Annual Joshua Heinz Humanitarian Award for Distinguished Service to Mankind. Note with satisfaction the handing over to the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, Ratko Mladic and Juran Hadžić, for a fair and open trial, thus signaling to all fugitives from international justice the international community's commitment to bringing them to account. Note with satisfaction the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda's arrest and commencement of proceedings against fugitive Bernard Munyagishari, the successful application for the referral of Jean Uwinkindi's case to Rwanda for trial, and ongoing efforts to preserve evidence against 3 additional fugitives for use in future trials. Note the conclusion of the first trial against a former sitting head of state, Charles Taylor, by the Special Court for Sierra Leone, and the completion of the trial against Thomas Lubanga, the first trial of the International Criminal Court. Note the issuing of an arrest warrant by the International Criminal Court against Muammar Gaddafi, Saif al-Islam, and Abdullah el-Senussi, and call for their arrest and prompt handover to the court. Note with satisfaction the issuing of an indictment by the Special Tribunal for Lebanon against 4 individuals alleged to be involved in the 2005 assassination of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik Hariri and others. Note the commencement of proceedings against the 4 most senior living members of the Khmer Rouge regime, but also the widespread concern for the independence and integrity of the extraordinary chambers of the courts of Cambodia. Are aware of the movement by peoples all across the Middle East and elsewhere to establish representative governments and call on all parties to respect the humanity involved in these events and to follow the precepts of international humanitarian law. Further note, with continued concern, the outstanding arrest warrants issued by international courts and tribunals, requiring the cooperation of states parties and the international community as a whole for their enforcement. Now do solemnly declare and call upon the international community to keep the spirit of the Nuremberg Principles alive by continuing international support to all nations seeking to adhere to the rule of law and promote accountability in their societies, urging all parties to the ongoing armed conflicts in the Middle East to respect international humanitarian law in particular by refraining from targeting protected persons and places, cooperating with efforts to locate, arrest, and hand over to the various international courts and tribunals those individuals who have been indicted for international crimes wherever found, urging states and the international community to end impunity for the gravest of crimes by refusing to include or accept amnesty or immunity clauses in peace agreements. Urging states and the international community to continue to support international justice by ensuring adequate resourcing of all courts and tribunals and for the residual mechanisms of those courts and tribunals whose mandates are coming to an end. Recognizing the importance of complementarity between the efforts of the national prosecuting authorities to enforce their own laws and those of the international courts and tribunals. Emphasizing that independence of prosecutors of international criminal courts is essential to the exercise of their mandates and the furtherance of international criminal justice, and urging all states and all organizations to recognize and support that independence. Signed in mutual witness by the following: Fatou Bensouda, International Criminal Court; David M. Crane, Special Court for Sierra Leone; Serge Brammertz, International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia; Daniel A. Belner, Special Tribunal for Lebanon; Hassan Jallo, International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda; Andrew Cayley, Extraordinary Chambers of the Courts of Cambodia; Brenda J. Hollis, Special Court for Sierra Leone; and Robert Petit, Extraordinary Chambers in the Courts of Cambodia. I'm now going to hand the document to the prosecutors, and they will sign it in our presence from left to right. The 5th Annual International Human